Hi everyone, welcome to the show tonight. My name is Jay Slim and you're tuned in to Love, Passion, and Lifestyle. Today I have a very good friend in the house, Jan, and he has a lot to tell us about his passion. But hey, I'll let him do the talking. Jan, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Jay. It's a pleasure to be here with you. Really good initiative. I'm going to try to contribute as much as possible.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So, originally, I'm from Benin, West Africa. But my father is Ghanaian and Togolese. So there's a bit of a mixed culture there, you know. But I moved to the US when I was about 7 years old. So I studied in the US, in Baltimore. And then after I finished my studies, I moved to Washington, D.C. So I worked there for a couple of years. And that's where the boxing started. I started as a raw product. I participated in a couple of clubs. And then it picked up from there. And since then, I've been doing it. And I moved to Europe about 10 years ago. So I lived in Slovakia, in Czech Republic, and now in Hungary. Budapest.
Can you tell us a little bit of how you found love in boxing?
First of all, it started with Rocky Balboa, you know, the movie. Right? So as a kid, I mean, I loved it, like Drago, you know, the Russian guy. So that was really like fascinating. So I used to watch a lot of boxing movies and it connected kind of like a passion at first, you know. And then I used to start on my own. So just like in the room, you know, like let me try and be cool, you know. So that was the start. And then I looked for some club. I wanted to give it a try. And then I went in DC and I started to train.
How's boxing in DC like? Is it something that most young men would naturally start up, or you were just that one-off kid who just loved boxing and wanted to take it to the next level?
I think a combination of both. Of course, in the US, it's quite popular. In university, there are a lot of programs for athletics, including boxing. So that's one way. But at the same time, a lot of street kids are looking to get stronger, to be able to defend themselves, you know, because the ghetto is wild. You know, so it's a combination of both.
Are they different types of boxing, or there's just one particular type of boxing?
There are different types, absolutely.
And which of these were you most interested in?
I'm more of a swarmer, and a swarmer is more of like aggressive, so strong punch and aggressive, so trying to finish the fight quick. That requires strength, so strength in the arms and in the legs, because you're on the offensive. That's why it's called a swarmer, Now, it depends, because you have other types like southpaws, you know, like Manny Pacquiao, if you know him. So he's a southpaw. So they are more like smart boxers that go from the defensive, So, but I'm a swarmer. So from the beginning, I understood that this style fits me more. Just have to be careful, because you can't be too much on the attack, you know?
Wow. At what point did you know that this had become a passion? So you said, hey, this is something that is not just a love right now. I want to take this to the next level and do this as far as I can. At what point did you convincingly know that that was your story?
When I started participating in exhibitions on the match. So after I trained, I got some of the knowledge, because you need to have a boxing IQ also. And then I was like, okay, I love this art, but I want to take it to the next level. Let me use it. Let me see what I can get from it. And that's when it became the passion.
And what were some of the challenges you faced in starting?
Oh, bro, I mean, I mean, the training before a match is no joke. I mean, the diet, the conditioning, because if you go for 12 rounds, even if it's exhibition match,
Right.
you need to be in top shape. So
What does top shape mean? Yeah, because this word for me is like, okay, how can I relate?
right. So top shape means you need to be able to go the distances. So the whole 12 rounds, for example, that's a start. So you need to run a lot, right? Your muscle mass needs to be at a certain level, all right? So you can't be too fat or too small, right? So there are balances, and your mental psyche needs to be on point. That's key also.
Wow. How much of boxing is dependent on the mental psyche?
I would say 60%. 60%.
Really?
A bit more, because you can be in top physical condition, but if your mind is not right, you can't go. So your mind needs to be on point.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Can you just give us a structure of what training as a boxer feels like?
Okay. Yeah. So, lot of conditioning. That's important. So a lot of running in the morning, for example, a lot of sprints. You need to push yourselves. So basically, you run not to the point where you cannot, but more than that, right? Because in a match, in a situation, when you're tired, that's when the clock starts, right?
Wow.
So the running. Then we do a lot of I forgot how it's called in English. I know in French, the rope
Skipping,
right? So a lot of skipping, because that gives you a rhythm and stamina at the same time, right? So a lot of skipping, a lot of cardio, right? Because if you can go the distance, then you can have a chance. You have a chance, right?
Yeah.
Right? And then after that, then you have the power. So the arms, right? So the strength and all of that, and strong legs. That's the base. You need to be able to move on your legs, to stay on your legs in case a shock comes, right? Yeah. So those are the three aspects.
Okay, so can you tell me a little bit about how do you approach your opponent? So when you see, I wanna give like two scenarios. If you see a guy who is, okay, in your view, bigger than you, or probably looking stronger than you, how do you approach such a match?
Well, first, there is some study that you do. I forgot to mention that about your opponent. So you need to know how he moves, what are his strengths, is he a slow puncher, is he a defensive fighter, right, is he a swarmer like me, right? So this kind of aspect. So once you watch a couple of his fights, or you understand that, then you know how to go to the fight, to approach him. But to answer your question, so if I see a bigger guy, right, the first thing I think about is I got to protect myself, because he's probably strong, so I don't want to give him easy shots, right? So there's a bit more defensive there, right? But he's big, he's gonna be slow, most likely, not
be slow throwing the punch.
Yeah. Not all of them are, but the majority, they're a bit slower if they are too big, right? So that gives me space to get in there, right? For example, right? So yeah. It's easier said than done, but that's the logic.
What's it like when you're in a situation where you're losing stamina in a game and you have to keep fighting? What's that like?
That's terrifying, because you see the light, and you're like, I want to get out of here ASAP, but that's where the mind, the mental side comes in, right? Because you need to pick yourself up, you need to find resources deep, right? And the good thing is, this is also applicable in life situations, when you face challenging situations, a lot of stress, right? You're about to give up, right? But this is where you go and you dig deep down, and you say, let me get to the finish line, right? Exactly. So that's the connotation.
Can you tell me a little bit about how much of boxing has influenced your life? Has it changed your perspective on how you live, just from everything you've learned from doing boxing?
Yes, it brings you more confidence and discipline, because
Wow.
Boxing is a very disciplined sport or art. You need to focus to do the things a certain way, right? You can't go like it's the circus or open zoo. You're gonna get yourself knocked out very
Real
fast,
quick.
right? Yeah. So discipline is one, right? Because also when you're preparing for a match or an exhibition, you have to follow certain guidelines to the letter before. So discipline and confidence, because anyone cannot just go inside a ring and say, I'm going at it,
Oh yeah.
So yeah.
Wow. What would you advise a young man out there who's trying to start boxing?
First, try to find out as much as possible about it, right? You need to find love, like you said, for it, right? If you like it, if it interests you, it's easier to get better at it and to connect with it. It's like a woman, right? It's the same, right? So you see her, you wanna get to know her, and then you put on your steps after that, right? So it's the same.
Right.
So to all those with my interest, I say try to find out more about it, see if you connect with it, and then get into it. It. This is not just like a plaything, but it's the real thing. So yeah.
And I know there's a lot going on in your life: work, family, friends, hobbies, and every other thing else that could be in the background. How do you combine your love, passion, and time for boxing and every other thing else going on in your life?
Yeah, it's not easy. You're right. That's true. It's that life balance. Back in the years, it was easier, but now it's a bit more challenging. As you get older, also. But I try to find a balance, focusing a bit on everything without losing sight, So I still do some boxing training like twice per week.
Okay.
I'm able to work. I even explored different boxing styles, right? So I tried Muay Thai, with a friend here, and it was good, I tried to balance. It's not easy, but I tried to balance.
Do you get better at boxing with experience or slower at boxing because of your body? Which outweighs the other?
You get a better IQ, so you have experience, you are smarter, but physically you are not the same.
Is it noticeable when you're in a match that, okay, I'm slower than I was 2 years ago? Do you notice that or not?
Sometimes, yeah. It depends on your opponent. Right. So sometimes, yes. If the opponent is really good, young, fast, dynamic, you're slow for sure. So yeah.
Wow. If you had an advice for people who were trying to balance out their passion and their lifestyle, what would you say to them?
Don't stress yourself. Do what you like, how you can, when you can. I think when we put pressure on ourselves, then nothing works, right?
Yeah.
So just enjoy the things, bits by bits, and just do it all slowly but surely.
Tell us a little bit about your most memorable match as a boxer, like the one where you said, hey, you know what, this one stands out.
Okay. There are a couple, but there's one that stands out.
Right.
It was in Slovakia, and it was with the Polish guy. It was a tournament, a small tournament, like 8 years ago, and we went to Germany for this tournament.
Right.
And before the match, everybody said this guy was just slow. Like it's gonna be quick, no big deal, And so I think I underestimated him a little bit, and we came, and the first round he knocked me out twice.
No.
Twice. I mean, but I got shocked. I was like, wait, something isn't all right. Is it the same guy, But I said, okay, all right, so let's I got you now, all right, let's go, all right. And then it went the distance. We had, I think, 11 or 10 rounds until the end. But toward the end, my conditioning was good. You know, he got tired, you know. So I bombarded him a lot with a lot of shots. He wouldn't fall down, you know, so he could take the punches. And at the end, I won on decision, right? So point, you know. But that was I remember that the first round, I saw the light like twice, you know. You know, so
Wow. Any final last words that you want to tell the viewers out there about their love for what they do?
Yeah, a lot of things. A lot of times we underestimate how much it can mean to us to love something or someone. And that's why it's great what you're doing here, Jay. You know, that's a great way to actually put more emphasis on love, passion, you know, and lifestyle.
Right.
So I would say don't be shy. If you love something, show it out, let it glow, talk about it, embrace it, right, to the fullest, right? Because at the end of the day, I think it's contagious. So the more we do this, the more love it's gonna be, right? So yeah.